In the last section we created the handleKeyUp method. So now we're able to type into our input and change the API URL, and in this section we're going to be able to hit submit and connect with that URL in order to get data back about a given user. So the first thing that we're going to do is delete the comment that we created in the last section, and looking at our index.html file, we're going to want to grab the form element, and we're going to, in the constructor of our form class, create a new variable. We'll say this.form, so we'll reach into the DOM to get that form. So say document.querySelector passes this string of form, and then using that new variable we're going to want to listen for an event, and in particular we're going to be listening for the submit event. So whenever our form submits, whenever we hit the submit button, it's going to run the callback function that we pass as the second argument. So again, we'll use an arrow function, and the name of the method that we want to execute will be handleSubmit. So we'll say this.handleSubmit, and we need to create that method. So we'll do that under handleKeyUp. So we'll say handleSubmit, and like handleKeyUp, we can pass the handleSubmit method a event object to give us some information about the event that took place. So we're going to pass that down through to handleSubmit, down to a console.log. We can save the file, and whenever we type something into our form, hit submit, we get information about the submit event. As you can see, we have the type, the target, a bunch of stuff. So now that we're getting the event object, we're going to use a very specific method on the event object. And whenever we submit our form, the default behavior is to refresh the page, and we don't want that to happen. So the way to prevent that behavior is to say event.preventDefault, and this will call a method that will change the default behavior of the form. So whenever it submits, we're not going to change the URL, we're not going to have the page reload, we're just going to be able to perform whatever is in that handleSubmit function. So the next thing that we need to do is we're going to need to reach out to the API URL. We're going to need to make a request to that URL that we created using what we typed in the input. So to do that, we're going to install a new package called Axios, and Axios is a very popular HTTP client package which allows us to very easily, in a very convenient syntax, connect with an API with a URL. And to make use of that, we're going to import that up at the top of our form file. So import Axios from the string Axios, and that'll reference the Axios package we just installed to our node modules folder. So underneath prevent default, we'll say axios.get. This is a method used to request a given resource, a given URL, and we're just going to pass it this.api URL. And so what this will do, axios.get will make a request to the URL, and it'll return to us a promise. So a promise is a guarantee that a value will be resolved at a certain point in time. So at some point in the future, we're going to get data back about the user that we requested. And when that takes place, we're going to execute .then. So we're going to add .then after the get, and within .then we basically have a callback function. So we specify what we want to take place whenever we finally get data back. So we're going to have a function where we have res as a parameter, which stands for response, and we're just going to console log res, and you'll see right now exactly what that does. So we'll type in a user that exists, such as Facebook, and when we hit submit, after a certain period of time, we get back all of this information from the URL that we requested data from. But you can see we have this data property, this request information, these headers information. We're going to only want the information within the data property that we see, which is an object. We only want the data that's located in this property. We want to get rid of all of the other stuff that we're requesting. So to do that, we can maybe say res.data. That's one way of just getting back a certain property from an object. However, a more convenient way, a more current way of doing that would be to what's called destructure the parameters of our then function. So we're going to wrap res in parentheses and curly braces and replace res with data. We're going to specify the property that we want off of a given object. So this, being able to specify what properties that we want when we get an object back, as I said, is called destructuring. So whenever we now submit our form and get data back, we're only getting that data property from the whole response object. And so we're going to make use of all of this data in order to show the user's information in the DOM. So now that we have that, we're making a request to the URL and we're getting data returned from our promise. We're going to want to add one more part to this Axios statement. We're going to add a .catch, and once again it's going to take a callback function. It'll have a parameter of error, which will represent any errors that might take place in resolving this promise. And if that takes place, we want to pass that error to console.error, and I'm just going to prepend the text promise rejected. And so whenever an error takes place, we'll see the error as well as the text that we specified. Just to be clear that the error text is coming from us. So if we type in a user that doesn't exist and we hit submit, we can see we get this get error of 404 not found, but then we see our error with the text of promise rejected. And if you click on that little arrow next to the text, you can see more specific information about what took place. The promise failed with the status code 404. You can see it took place in the handleSubmit function in this promise.catch part. So this console.error allows us to get very specific information about any problems that might take place when a promise is rejected. And then we notice that the text still remains after we make this request. So one way to remove the search term that we have in our input is to say this.search term is equal to an empty string. However, I think a better way to do that is to say this.form. So we select our form, and we can call a method on it called reset. So this will reset, this will remove the text from any of the inputs that we might have within our form. So let's try that by typing in a user, hitting submit. We get the data in the console, but we have all of the text removed from our input.